The Oregon Ducks will win the college football playoff. They will be your 2024 national champions. Right now, they stand at 13-0, 9-0 in Big Ten play. They are Big Ten champions, and they are the number 1 seed in the college football playoff. Their path is difficult. It is a difficult path to the national championship for Oregon. Even though they won the Big Ten championship game, seeding-wise, it felt like they were getting punished for winning the Big Ten championship game, which just ultimately doesn't sit right with me. It's why I think the college football playoff needs some reform. It's going to be talked about in a video that is releasing tomorrow that I want to discuss. So make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so that you can get notified when that drops. But I think that the Ducks have handled adversity well all season long. They're one of the toughest teams in the country. I think that they have one of the best rosters in the country, potentially the best roster in the country. I think they're up there with Penn State, who they played yesterday at the Big Ten championship game. So regardless of that, for Oregon, just continue to win. You're undefeated. You beat Ohio State. You beat Penn State. You won all your other games. And they have a first-round bye, so they get extra time to rest, extra time to prepare, and that's very valuable. That means there's a lesser chance of injuries than, let's say, Notre Dame or Penn State or Ohio State or Texas, teams that have home games but have to play that extra game to win it all. That means more exhaustion, more injuries, potentially, hundreds of more snaps for, not hundreds, but tens more snaps for players on both sides of the ball. Hundreds collectively, of course, depending on the game. Could be less than that. They get a first-round bye, which I think is incredibly valuable, especially with how good of a coach Dan Lanning is. He's an elite coach, top 5 in the country right now. His staff is as well. Then they will play in the Rose Bowl, in the semifinal matchup, or the quarterfinal matchup, rather, in the Rose Bowl. They will play the winner of Ohio State or Tennessee. Both good teams, but I think Oregon outclasses them both. And the Rose Bowl is in Oregon's territory. It's in Oregon's time zone. It's weather that Oregon is more familiar with this time of the year than what Tennessee or Ohio State are familiar with. For Ohio State and Tennessee, the Rose Bowl is 3 time zones away. They'll probably adjust to it. They'll probably get there, earlier than usual because the quarterfinal games are separated by 8, 9, 10, an extra day or several extra days from the first round games. But still, a time zone advantage for Oregon, an environment advantage for Oregon, and they have, I think, the better coaching staff and better roster than both Ohio State and Tennessee do. Ohio State and Tennessee have some major weaknesses. Oregon does not have a major weakness. Then they will play either Texas, Clemson, or Arizona State, depending on how that side of the bracket works out. And if they beat them, on top of beating the winner of Ohio State, Tennessee, they will play in the national championship game. And the rules always follow, with rare exception, that if you reach the national championship game, play your best football. And if you lose, the season's not a failure because the national championship is a hard trophy to earn, and reaching that game already is an impressive feat. The Ducks have no weaknesses, and this is why I am picking them to win the national championship, a huge part of the reason why. The run defense has some concerns. I think there's a reason to be skeptical about it, but is it really a weak run defense? Because I still think it's good. I still think it's great. I happen to believe, and that's because my eyes and the stats and the analytics tell me this, that Penn State just has a near elite to elite rushing offense. It's the same thing as Boise State. It's the same thing as Ohio State before Simmons went down, and Simmons played for a quarter or two against Oregon. And Wisconsin also has a good rushing offense. And Oregon did, they faced those and they were, scratched and bruised up by those rushing offenses, but those are still pretty impressive units. So as long as the passing defense functions at a high level, which it has been, and as long as the offense continues to be high flying, I don't think it'll matter that much. I don't think this team has any obvious holes anywhere. And remember who they have played. I already told you that. Travion Henderson, Quinshon Judkins. You played Ashton Jeanty, who should win the Heisman in my opinion, best running back in the nation. You played Kalel Mullings at Michigan, held him to nil. Not that much. You played Tawi Walker. You played Jonah Coleman, Nicholas Singleton, Katron Allen, Anthony Hankerson, and Oregon State, who've done well on the ground this year. And you're only allowing an average of about 4.1 yards per carry, which is not ideal. But then again, you've played maybe the toughest schedule in the country when it comes to rushing offenses. I think that this team and this defense specifically are not as weak as some say. I think the run defense is not elite. That's for certain. They struggle getting interior penetration. I think that it's easier than against other defenses to block downfield against this Oregon unit. They're more of a pass defense than a run defense stylistically and also in personnel. But I still think they're good at stopping the run. They're a defense overall that I think is top 15. And roster-wise, they're one of the best in college football. They're very balanced. And I think that combined with coaching and an offense that's unmatched translates to a team that is going to be the first team in college football history to go 16-0. Oregon is second in offensive efficiency. They're 7th in points per game. They're 7th in offensive touchdowns per game, 12th in yards per point, and 5th in points per play. Very impressive numbers from the Oregon Ducks. This is an offense that right now is peaking. It's playing its best ball. Tez Johnson's healthy, and when Tez Johnson is healthy, him and Dillon Gabriel have a very good connection. I think it's very similar to the connection that Bo Nix and Tez Johnson and Bo Nix and Troy Franklin had last season, and he has good pass protection. Jordan James is a dog. He's a baller at running back, could be an alien player. The tackles could be alien players. I think the interior of the offensive line, while it needs work, is still good, and the tight end room is stacked with talent. This is an offense that, mark my words, is unmatched. You are not stopping this offense. You may limit the offense, but you are not stopping the offense with how it is functioning right now. And that extra rest just means any injuries they have can get cleared up. They have a longer time to game plan. It's just so many things are coming together for Oregon, largely things that Oregon can control. And that's what impresses me and why I think the Ducks will hoist the College Football Playoff National Championship trophy at the end of the year. Oregon beats others. They never beat themselves. They are well coached, and they have no crippling weaknesses. They may have some weak spots. They have things that I know Dan Lanning and Tosh Lupoy and Will Stein want to fix and be better at. They want to be perfect, and they can't be perfect. They won't, but they want to be. They'll try their hardest. They'll throw the kitchen sink at you. They'll try and bomb you over the top, shove you in the middle, beat you on the outside. They'll do anything to win. They beat others. They scheme around others, and they're disciplined. They do not beat themselves like so many teams do this year. And that is why I am picking the Oregon Ducks to win the national championship. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and also hit that notification bell so that way you can get notified when new content from College Football with Sam drops. I appreciate you very much, and also share the video around to others who you know enjoy the sport of college football and love it as I do and as you do, and comment your thoughts down below so that we can have a conversation, because I want to know what you are thinking. And join our Discord server where we talk college football 24/7 via the link in the description or down below in the pinned comment. Thank you to my Heisman Patreon members, Crash2488, Brasco Rascal, and Conlo OH. Thank you to my All-American Patreon members, Chris Lane, Ismar, and Tyler Nye. And thank you to my All-Conference members, John Lynn, Roaming Gnome, Matthew Sale, Austin Christmas, Joshua Jorgensen, and Will Loftus. Make sure to check out my merchandise store and or Patreon page, or super chat down in the comment section below to support the channel. The Patreon page and merchandise store links are in the description or down below in the pinned comment. I hope you have a wonderful day. It is December, so Merry Christmas and also Happy New Year. I will see you guys soon.